Hello everyone, this side CS Sonali Jindal. Today we will discuss recently held GS3 paper 2024. I will discuss the internal security questions recently held in GS3 2024, and as you know, in the internal security topic you will find 4 questions in the paper. Every year they are asking at the 9th, 10th and 19th and 20th question. You just need to know the sequence as well, so that for the paper answer writing you can strategize in that way and you can calculate this will amount to 50 marks. It means internal security is having a high weightage, and I will also show you like how directly questions are coming from the syllabus or from the previous year questions. And third thing, obviously you need to follow the current affairs as well, and I will show you for every question like to which syllabus topic you can relate it with, and I will also show you which of the previous year questions that have been asked on the similar topic and maybe in a different way, and it is your responsibility to look at the syllabus. Now starting with the discussion, first question, 9th number. Explain how narco-terrorism has emerged as a serious threat across the country. Suggest suitable measures to counter narco-terrorism. Firstly, whenever you see a question, try to find out the keywords in the question. Now in this question, the keyword here is the narco-terrorism. It means it is asking about the narco-terrorism. I hope you can think basically the combination of the drugs and the terrorism. And in this, the directive word is how it is emerging as a serious threat. And the second part is basically suitable measures. So basically, firstly you will identify what is the keyword here. Secondly, you will look at the directive words so that you can decide out the basically 2 sub-parts of the question. Now in this question there are 2 sub-parts. One is how it is emerging as a serious threat. Second sub-part is the measures. As it is in the 10 markers, so it is suggested basically if you are given 2 pages for the 10 markers, it means in the first page you can give points how it is emerging as a serious threat, and the second page would be given to the basically measures that can be taken to counter terrorism. And thirdly, I want to suggest you in the internal security and the IR, do try to make the maps, and for this you have to practice beforehand, because then only you will be able to draw the map there. Now in this question you can draw quickly a Indian map where you can show the golden crescent and the golden triangle. I hope you know about it. Golden crescent basically shows the drug area or the opium producing area that is between the Afghanistan, Iran and Pakistan. Golden triangle includes the Myanmar, Thailand, Laos. So these are the true drug areas that are in the proximity to the India. You can see on the map. So after identifying the sub parts, you can basically decide to make the map. Now to which syllabus you can relate this particular question. In your syllabus it is written linkages of the organized crime with the terrorism. It means what are the linkages between the organized crime and the terrorism, it is specifically mentioned, and you are anyway going to prepare what is organized crime, what is the basically linkages between these, because you can then think in this way like 2 of them providing the logistic support to each other and also funding the terrorism. And this also narco-terrorism, basically the drug activities are funding the terrorism. We will also discuss the narco-terrorism in detail. Before that, see the previous year questions that are asking about this topic. For example, in 2022, they asked complexity and intensity of the terrorism, its causes, linkages and obnoxious nexus. Certainly it is talking about the linkages between the other activities or the organized crime with the terrorism, and it is asking about the measures as well. So from this question, if you have seen the 2021 question, you must be able to write the 2024 question as well. Now again in 2022 they asked what are the types of organized crime and linkages between these at the national and the transnational level. In 2018 they have also asked India's proximity to the two of the world's biggest illicit opium growing states. Now you can use the previous year question line itself to show how the basically this threat has been rising in India. And further you can write about the narco-terrorism. Basically this is the intersection of the drug trafficking and terrorism. Try to develop the writing skills, and in the exam you can quickly draw one simple diagram also to show the basically intersection between them. This type you can write drug trafficking, and on the other side you can write the terrorism. This is how you can use the simple diagrams in the exam to make your answer writing more effective. Where drug cartels or the criminal organizations engage in the violent acts similar to those carried out by the terrorist groups. In this you may find out the basically 2 points. One is drug cartels may be using the terrorists to basically continue their illicit activities. For example, the terrorist groups provide the parallel government to the other organized crime, due to which they are able to continue their activities. Second, terrorist groups may be involved in the drug trade. As you know about the Taliban, they are having around 80% of the opium area, growing area in the Afghanistan. You can find out the FARC in the Colombia and Hezbollah. These are the few examples. In the exam, try to mention some of the examples as well. If you will be prepared for the previous year question, you need to basically prepare the previous year question of the internal security, so that you will have already beforehand some of the maps, diagrams and the examples that can be used directly, because there is a very small syllabus of the internal security and they are directly asking from them. Do complement it with the current affairs as well. And if we see the drug cartels using the terrorist tactics, this is seen in the Colombia and the Mexico. So you can say the narco-terrorism actually present in the South American nations, for example, Peru, Colombia, we have seen in the Mexico also, and it is also spreading out the West Asian countries as well. And we have some of the examples where the basically terrorists are involved in the drug activities. Now what are the reasons why it is spreading out in India? Whenever in the internal security the question is saying about the reasons or the consequences, try to have a basically parcel approach, so that you can think like what are the political reasons, in the social reasons could be. For example, here the main reason is your proximity to the drug producing reasons. I have already told you golden crescent and the golden triangle. You can draw the map under this point. And there are socio-economic factors as well, like poverty and unemployment, due to which our Indian youth is basically radicalized by these terrorist groups to join them. After this, transnational nature of the trade, as well as there are open borders between the countries, due to which the trafficking of drugs have been facilitated. After this, our governance system, due to the weak enforcement of the law and corruption. For example, at the borders, why the drugs are able to enter the Punjab borders? Due to the weak enforcement of the law and the corruption in India. After this, the porous borders, use of technology by there is a increase of uses of the sophisticated tools by the terrorist groups and the other organized crime doing people. Like dark web is there, and link it is between the organized crime. This way you can write the reasons, and how part can be divided further into, like you can write some of the reasons and you can write some of the effect as well, like what will happen with it. You can obviously decide with the political, it will be fueling the violence, destabilizing the government, targeting the drug addicted youth, fear in the minds of the public. It is funding the extremist groups in India also. And what will be the economic effect? Reducing the FDI, reducing the investor confidence as well. Now, Whenever in the internal security you needed to write the steps to counter or steps for any kind of topic asked in the internal security, do write about firstly the legal step taken in this respect, and secondly you can write about the institutional approach. Then you can write the basically infrastructure made in this regard. Then you can write about the social awareness created. Then at the international level maybe. So here you can write about the what are the legal, for example we have a Narcotics Act. You can mention that Narcotics Act. We have UPA Act, under which recently the amendment was made. Even the individuals can be tagged as a terrorist under the UPA Act. You can mention these kind of legal frameworks to counter these. And we have a Money Laundering Act as well that curbs the funding mechanism to the terrorists. This way you can mention the legal. There are institutional, like for example we have investigative agencies. You can mention about the NAT grade ED. These are the institutional framework. We have Netra for the surveillance on the social networking sites as well. And one more thing, you can use the other topics of the syllabus as well to mention the points. For example, in the syllabus it is mentioned there is a internal security challenges due to the media and the social networking sites as well. Due to the uses of this, the anonymity or the encryption services in the social media also, that has basically made the linkages between the organized crime and the terrorism more stronger. And now you can mention about the infrastructure. Yes, Amit Singh. Okay, you're asking the point wise or the paragraph wise would be best. I would recommend you to write point wise, but in some questions we are not able to maintain the points form as well. So some of the points you can mention in the paragraphs as well, but after dividing the question into two subparts, better it's right if you are able to write in the point wise form. But sometimes the question is asking the analytical point, and there you have to explain in the paragraph as well. So you can use the mixed approach, but I would recommend more pointer form. In the infrastructure, so basically you can write whatever the infrastructure created for this, then about the social awareness to create among the people with regard to the media. After that, international approach, like you can mention about there is a convention against the terrorism, UN convention against terrorism, and in fact we know that this was recently it was headed by India as well. So this way you can write the any kind of internal security question. After this, another question, second question, it is asking about the context and the salient features of the Digital Personal Data Protection Act. Firstly, again, to which topic you can relate it with. First is challenges to the internal security to the communication network, role of media and the social networking sites in the internal security, then with the basics of the cyber security. So these are some of the topics due to which you can relate this particular question, but certainly it is more related to the basics of the cyber security. As I said, I will also show you the previous year question that has been asked on the same topic. In 2018, they have already asked, data security has assumed significant importance in the digitized world. The Justice B.N. Shri Krishna Committee addresses the issue, and it is relating to the protection of the personal data in the cyberspace. As in 2018, they have already asked about there is a basically problem in the protection of the personal data. So recently development made in 2023 with regard to the basically Data Protection Act, That is why this question was expected only. So your previous year questions and your syllabus always guide what is important in the current affairs as well. It means if you have read the previous year questions and then you will read the current affairs, you will be able to think whether it can be asked in the exam or not. Now, what is the need of the basically act? As if we see, India does not have any standalone law on the data protection earlier, and the Puttaswamy judgment was in 2017 that gave the right to privacy to the people under Article 21. And in the past, in the prelims, UPSC has asked about this for 2 times already, and the Justice B and Shri Krishna committee was set up with regard to the bill. And now, what are the features of it? Firstly, scope and applicability. So, for this you need to write the specific points in such kind of questions. But if you are following the current affairs, you might know some of the debate and the features already through the newspaper also. Like, now it is applicable whether the data in the digital form, collected online, offline, or the digitized later. It covers the data within India and also the foreign entities that is dealing with the Indian citizens' data. Now, personal data, it is focusing. It also defines the data fiduciary and the data principle, because after this we will read about the obligations of the data fiduciary and the rights of the data principle. Who is data fiduciary? Basically, that is an entity responsible for collecting and the processing of the personal data. Data principle is the individual like us whose personal data is being processed. Now, the consent-based data processing will be done. Clear and affirmative consent needs to be taken. It means right to consent has been given to the data principle for the collection and the processing of their data. Next, what are the rights available to the data principals? He has the right to assess the personal data that is held by data fiduciaries. I hope data fiduciaries is clear to you. Basically, the entities that are going to process the personal data. We are given the right to correction as well. Right to eraser, can request the erasure of their personal data under certain conditions. Now, there are some conditions are being put up to right to erasure. In the criticism we will read, but we are not given the right to be forgotten, and this remains in the news because, like for example, if there is one convict and that is coming out after so many years from the jail, he should be given the right to dignity as the data on the social media available with regard to his crime. He will not be able to basically mingle up with the society again, because again the society will know about his crime, and that is why the right to be forgotten needs to be given. There is right to data portability as well. It means the data can be transferred from one service to another. Right to grievance redressal is also given to the data principle. And then what are the obligations of the data fiduciaries? They should make reasonable efforts for the accuracy and the completeness of the data. Reasonable security should be there so that the data, basically breach of data will not be there and the theft of data should not be there. Inform the Data Protection Board of the India and affected persons in the event of breach. Basically, the cyber security protection should be there for the data. Erase personal data as soon as the purpose has been met. It means the right to erasure has been given under certain conditions, but we need to know still we are not given the right to be forgotten. Now, the data localization was there earlier, but now it has been modified to some extent. It says, unlike earlier drafts, which does not allow the cross-border data transfer, but now we have given the data transfer under specific conditions. So, we have eased the restrictions on the data storage outside India. You can relate it with the Osaka track. It was started by the Japan with regard to the data transfer, but now India has also allowed the data transfer but under specific conditions. Now, what are the differences from the 2013 draft? It has been aligned more with the global data protection standards. For example, European Union Global Data Protection Rights. And you need to know in 2019, UPSC in the prelims has asked, GDPR is related to which of the country? So answer was European Union. So whatever is asked in the prelims examination, that also gives the signal on which current affairs UPSC is focusing. And the right to privacy also I have told you in the prelims they have asked. It means this was an expected question. Most recent legislation also emphasizes individual rights, corporate responsibility and the government oversight. Now, what are the concerns relating to the personal data protection bill? First is the exemptions given to the basically government. It means if the government is processing the data, it has been exempted the government. It means it can increase the risk of the surveillance and it can lead to the infringement of the right to privacy that was given by our Supreme Court under the Puttaswamy judgment. As the exemptions given to the government, it can, as the words are used, interest of the security of the state and the public order. These are very broader in the vague terms and anything can be put under this. So it increases the risk of surveillance and it does not regulate the risk of the harms arising out of the processing the personal data, as now the data transfer or the storage and basically outside India has been allowed, but you need to do like processing is mainly done in India, and for under this processing there could be some of the risks that are not taken care of and the right to be forgotten not provided. I have already told you. Now moving to the next question. I hope you are able to understand the pattern as after 9th and 10th. Now 19th question. It is saying the long and troubled border with China and Pakistan. What are the basically issues here? Examine the conflicting issues and the security challenges. And the second part is we need to write about the border area development program and the border infrastructure and management scheme. Now, as I have told you, always divide your answer, like find out the subparts in the question, and the keyword here is border with the China and Pakistan. And now it is asking about the issues. First part is you need to write the issues and challenges. You can subdivide, like for example, you make a heading, issuing and challenges, security challenges. Further, you can divide with the Pakistan and China. There, then you can write the pointer form under this. And the second part is what are the developments made under the border area development program and the border area infrastructure management. I know here some of the specific points or the some infrastructure projects need to be mentioned, but try to carve out some of the basic points from the name itself. For example, the first development program, so it is focusing on the border area development and it is focusing on the infrastructure. So if any infrastructure is coming to your mind, you can mention, like we have brought the bold QIT at the Indo-Pakistan border, and we are building the infrastructure in the Jammu and Kashmir and the northeast region. Like for example, you can mention about the some of the tunnels we are building to for the infrastructure. Now, which syllabus topic you can relate it with the security challenges and their management in the border areas. So, specifically border area management is in your syllabus, so you need to prepare it. And which of the previous year questions you can relate it? One is the border management is a complex task due to the difficulty terrain and the hostile relations with some of the countries. Now in the past they have also asked about the CPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. It is a subset of the OBOR, China's OBOR. It is viewed as a cardinal subset of the China's larger OBOR, and in the past they have asked about this way. Basically, if you will prepare the previous year questions, then it will definitely help you in the answer writing of the current topics. Then the direction should be firstly write about the issues and challenges with the China border, then you can mention about the Pakistan border, then mention about the schemes, border infrastructure management scheme and the border area development program. So with the China, there is a problem at the 𝐻𝐋𝐋𝐼, Arunachal Pradesh. There was recently Doklam standoff, and we have seen the Galwan Valley war also. With the Pakistan, there is a Kashmir issue, cross-border terrorism, infiltration. You can mention about the drug trafficking as well with the Pakistan. And with the Pakistan, we are looking at the proxy war as well. And with the China, you can see right about the cyber security challenge as well. And China is also basically creating the problem with the relations with the neighboring countries as well. So this question, if you have prepared the international relations well, then definitely you can write about the issues with the China and Pakistan as well. Like for example, China is having a debt trap diplomacy with the other countries that creates the problem with the other countries as well. And border infrastructure scheme, you can mention it is focusing on the infrastructure of border fence, border floodlights, technological solutions, border outpost at the neighboring countries. The main objective of the border area development program will be special developmental needs. So basically we are building or developing the border areas so that they will not be radicalized by the other terrorist groups. The vulnerability should not be taken the advantage by them, as providing the local schemes, providing them the infrastructure so that we could have a participatory approach with the community as well. And you can draw these kind of maps to show the what are the basically border area disputes. Like this is the 𝐻𝐋𝐋𝐼 is shown here. There is a Siachen glacier disputed with the Pakistan. There is a Saksham Valley that has been gifted by the Pakistan to the China, and you can show the line of control. There is a Pakistan occupied Kashmir, Gilgit, Baltistan. You can also show along with it the basically Arunachal Pradesh area as well. So try to have a rough map practice, like you can draw this way in the exam. Then you can show some of the basically label the area you want to show, like Arunachal Pradesh. This way you can practice the map and try to keep on doing the maps practice. Then only you will be able to draw in the exam. I have written in the detail 𝐻𝐋𝐋𝐼, Arunachal Pradesh, Saksham Valley, and about the Sikkim as well. These are the some of the disputed with the China. Then with the Pakistan, there is Jammu Kashmir, Siachen Glacier, Run of Kutch, and the Sar Creek. These are the some of the disputed areas with the Pakistan. Now, recently our External Affairs Minister has also said that India is having a special China problem that is beyond the general China problem. As in the past, basically External Affairs Ministers has already said, like India is having a special China problem, not only like other countries like USA, a general China problem, because we are sharing the borders with the China. That creates the internal security threats for the India. Like the scrutiny of the Chinese investment should be there. There is a trade deficit with the China, and the China's unique position on this, and the ongoing border standoff. Like we have seen the Doklam standoff, Galwan Valley issue, Saksham Valley. So these are the examples you can mention. And you can also write some of the infrastructure projects you have, if you know about them. Like there is a Nimmo Padam Darcha road that has been built by India. There is a Shinkula tunnel. We are focusing on the Leh connectivity, as recently basically we have made the JNK and the Ladakh region as the UTs, so that central government could have control there to counter the Pakistan and the China issue. And we are building the infrastructure project there. We are focusing on the connectivity with the Leh, that is a Shinkula tunnel. We are also having a frontier highway with Arunachal Pradesh. There is a Sangal tunnel has been built, Lippu Lake Pass Road on the Mansarovar Yatra route. It means if in the prelims, during the prelims exam, if you have read some of the infrastructure projects that has been built recently by the India, then you can make use of this in this particular question to write about the exam. But yes, we cannot predict the what specific can be asked, but you need to use your mind there with the name of the program that has been asked. Try to drive out the simple points there, like one of the project is focusing on the development and the one is focusing on the infrastructure. So try to build your vocab by daily reading the newspaper, and by covering the syllabus you will definitely get some of the focus areas of the government, and do try to mention some of the programs if you have read in the newspaper. Now the last question, discussion of the internal security. Social media and the encrypting messaging services pose a serious security challenge. What measures have been adopted at the various levels? Now, in the first question I have told you, you need to basically prepare at different levels. For example, societal level, what are the changes adopted at the national level, and at the international level, at the legal level, at the institutional level. This way you can divide the levels to address the security implications of the social media. Suggest any other remedies to address the problem. Now again, to which syllabus topics you can relate it with? Role of media and the social networking sites in the internal security challenge. So this is the topic you can relate, and which of the previous year questions you can relate the particular question. In the past they have asked what is the use of internet and social media by the known state actors for the subversive activities. It means now in this question you need to write like social media is being used by the known state actors for doing the subversive activities. For example, the known state actors could be left-wing extremism, you can write Naxalism, and there are terrorist groups that are using the social media. So from the previous year questions, you will also get the points to write in the exam as well. So try to keep looking at the previous year questions. So this is the point can be used in the today's question. How have these been misused in the recent past? So they have asked about the examples there, and they have asked about the effective guidelines. So if someone has prepared the 2016, then that person can definitely write the decent answer of the 2024 question. But yes, in today's question there is a need of the current affairs as well. I will show you what was the context in the current affairs ongoing with regard to this. After this there was a question, what are the social networking sites? What are the security implications do these sites present? Again in 2013 the similar question was asked. As with the social media networking sites, these are being used by the basically terrorist groups for the training, as we have seen in the case of the ISI. Pakistan is using for the proxy war with the India. Their terrorist groups are using to radicalize the society of the India, as some of the youth are radicalized through the social media. You know about the algorithms, like for example, if some of the news or some of the fact you are watching, and you will get basically numerous feeds on this. This way they can use the algorithms of the social media to radicalize the youth of the India. So it is used for the training, and it is being used for the funding as well. As on the social networking sites there is a basically payment mechanism also. Due to their encryption feature, basically the government agencies cannot read the content as well. Like in the past we have there was a discussion on the Apple phone as well, as they have a very strong security features, as due to they follow the right to privacy. That is why these kind of phones are being used by these kind of groups always for their encryption features. As in the past we have seen in your society, you must have listened about the WhatsApp calls coming for the cyber security threats. As social media networkings are having the encrypted messaging services have raised the security concerns relating to the privacy, national security, cyber crime, and the misinformation, and they have also increased the cases of the more violence as well due to the forwarded messages. But if you know, the WhatsApp has also created one of the feature, like whenever you forward the message, it shows like it is forwarded. It is being used by the WhatsApp It has been added by the WhatsApp only to curb the forwarded messages, because these are leading to the more violence, to spread the rumors as well, the fake news as also use. Now, how you can write in the levels, like you can write about the legal level. We have brought the broadcasting bill, under which basically on the social media, if any individual influencer is giving some of the news, that has also been added in the media. The regulation or the oversight of the government has been brought. So this was in news recently, due to which we can relate it with the particular question. There was a IT Amendment Act as well, under which the government was supposed to set up a fact check unit. And we will discuss now about the, on 21st September only we have discussed about this, like there was a IT Amendment Act as the recent Bombay High Court judgment, although declaring this amendment as invalid and unconstitutional. But what was the amendment here? Here the basically new IT rules 2023. Government can ask the social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, YouTube to remove any content that is relating to the business of the central government that is false and misleading. If intermediaries do not comply with the organization decision, they may lose the safe harbor status. So this was discussed in the daily news analysis, and you can obviously see the fact check unit amendment as well, and there was a Personal Data Protection Act. To this you can relate the particular basically topic. And now the international developments were also there, like Europe, GDPR, Cloud Act of the US, and there was an institutional step. India's three main surveillance projects, NatGrid, CMS and the Netra, and there were some of the infrastructure projects, and with regard to the social cyber swatch kendra, and in international we had a global internet forum. So this way you can mention about the labels. Now this question again can be related to the current affairs. Now I am ending the discussion. We have discussed 4 questions. The crux is you need to look at the syllabus, prepare wisely, and do look at the previous year questions also. And at the end, obviously the answer writing will help you. Thank you all of you.